Hey nerds, coming back at you with a little more Toddomation. All right, so this is the exciting part of this series. We're actually going to get our cEOS image loaded into our Codespace that's currently running. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to get it out of our downloads folder and get it into our actual repo. Now, we created a local copy of our repo for a reason. So here's our downloaded file, wherever you put it, if it's not in downloads, wherever. One thing that you don't want to do, and you don't want to actually try to add items directly to folders using VS Code. It doesn't work the way that you think that it's going to work. It really only creates a symbolic link, and because of that, it doesn't actually put it in the folder. So we're not going to be able to transfer it using the commands that I'm going to show you. So for this one, we need to go to our file system. So I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to use Finder. If you're on Windows or something else, you would use whatever program that you're using for file management, whether it be Explorer or just the CLI. We could do it in the CLI, but I'm going to show you in the GUI here real quick. So I've got my file, okay, and it's the, where I put it, it's the cEOS file, 575 meg. I've left it compressed or zipped at this point. So I'm just going to right click on it, and I'm going to copy it. Just like a standard copy that I would do with anything. Okay. So I'm going to click copy. Now I'm going to use my file system to go into my local storage of my Git repo. So I'm just going to go into GitHub here, go into my training labs. Now let's just change this up. We're in C Lab Demos is the one that we're in. Now, this is the basic file folder that we have. Where we want to put it is our images file. And I've already created the images file, but it's in the basic lab folder here. So you see I've got some other stuff in here for you that I'm going to show you in some later videos. But where we want it is this images file. So we go into the images file. We're going to right click on it with the right mouse button, and we're going to paste that in there. Okay, now it's actually pasted the file, but we still want to verify it. So I'm going to get rid of my Finder. I'm going to come back over into my VS Code, looking at my local repository here, and I can see right now, this is my VS Code. This is my repo. Notice that there's a 2 over here because it sees some changes, okay? I'm going to look, if you don't have a terminal window open, and I'm just going to close this just in case you don't, we would go to terminal, we would go to new terminal, and by default, it's just going to put you in the primary directory for this repo. So depending on if you're Windows, I'm Mac, so this is going to be Unix or Linux based. So if I do a PWD, it's going to show me where I'm at. So users, T Simmons, documents, GitHub, training docs, C Lab demos. Well, that's not where my file actually is, right? So I can do it 2 ways. I can come up here to basic lab, and then I can go to images, and I see I have that file there. Okay. Now, remember, we can't put it on GitHub in that manner. It's too big. They're not going to let you. You're going to get an error every time that you try to do it. But it is in here, okay, as an actual file now. Now, we don't want to try to upload this to GitHub. Why? You're going to get an error. So 2 things that we want to do, and I've already done this for you, but I want to show you. This git ignore file that's already there. What this is saying what file type should be ignored when we're doing the git pull, git push. What's it going to ignore? And notice that I have tar, bin, vmdk, qcal, img, or .exe, which means any of these files are going to be ignored when you try to do your update. So if I, right now, if I come in here to my source and I say added cEOS file, I run my commit, I sync my changes, okay, it didn't upload it. And I can verify that it didn't upload it because I just come back into here, I look here, images, look, it's not there. Real quick, git keep. So it's a dot file, git keep. When you have a directory and it's empty, and yours is going to start empty, okay, it won't create it. So we use the git keep, which is just an empty file that's titled .gitkeep, just like you see it, no extension after that, that'll actually create the folder for you so it's there. Pretty important piece, because GitHub doesn't put folders up that are actually empty until you put something in them. All right, so we have it here, and let's just verify that it's on our local. We can see it. Let's go back here. But where we want to do is we want to change our directory now. We know where we're at. We're in training labs, and we're in CLab demos here. Well, where we want to be is in this basic lab. So we just do a CD basic lab. Okay, I do an LSAL, and it shows me the files. I can see I've got an images directory. So let's just jump in there real quick. And I do have my file. It is absolutely sitting here. Now, I can't upload it to Git, but I can upload it or copy it to Codespaces. This is the entire reason that we started and going and getting that GH CLI command, because that's where we need to be. So I'm going to go back one level up, pwd, print working directory. I'm going to show that, okay, I'm in my basic lab folder, which is where I want to be. Now, I need to know what command to run in order to get this copied up to GitHub. It's kind of a long command, but don't worry, I actually put it in the README file. If I go back here and we look at the README file, and I'm going to have to get out of my Codespace to do it, but no worries. This is a good time for me to show you how to get back into your Codespace. So if I go into my CLab demos and I open it up, this is the command, and I've built it so where you can copy it. It's the GH Codespace CP copy -E, and it's going to go in the images directory. That's why we're starting in the basic lab directory. It's going to copy this file to the remote workspace. It's called CLab demos, right? This is exactly, if you've forked and hadn't made any structure changes, this will work just fine. Put it in basic lab images -C, Codespace name. Now that's what we don't know yet. We can't put Codespace name. We actually have to put the name of the Codespace. When you created the Codespace, you probably didn't write it down, and I wouldn't. It's pretty long and difficult to remember. So if for some reason your Codespace stopped, right, just come back here, okay, just like we are. Come back to code, okay, in Codespaces. Well, here's your Codespace name. Now, that's not going to help us as far as what we need to put in that CLI command, but as we can see, it's active, and I have a couple others. By the way, they name these themselves. I don't name these. But in order to get back into your Codespace, and this says active, so they haven't shut it down on me yet, you just click it. And that'll bring back this page, just like we had before. It's going to reset your VS Code window up, and this is keeping it back. It's not doing anything, okay? It's just showing you your Codespace. Now, let's go back to our VS Code, because we still have to transfer that file, whole purpose of that video. So how do we find out the actual name of our Codespace? Well, it's actually pretty easy. We use the GH Codespace list. I haven't signed into it. Looks like it doesn't have me signed in. So let me do my GH auth login. GitHub, HTTPS. Yes. Log in with a browser. I'm going to open my browser. Well, actually, it's going to open my browser for me. And put my code. Okay. Now, earlier, remember, I said it was going to use the GitHub mobile. We hit use GitHub mobile, and then I'm going to type that number in. But I got to go get my phone. Be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and I open up my phone. I open up my GitHub, and it immediately asks me for authentication request. I put that number in. I approve it. And then over here, pretty quick, you're going to see I'm good. I need to refresh my auth. And it actually tells me what's wrong, right? It wants me to run the auth refresh, but allow the API. So I'm going to run the command just like they told me here. Okay. The GH auth refresh H GitHub. Okay. Yes, I'm going to log in. I'm going to copy my password or the one-time code. It's going to open the browser. We're going to continue. I'm going to put that code in. And I'm going to authorize it. So now I should be done. I'm going to close these extra windows out. No need to have them open. I'm going to come back here. Now I should be good. I can do my GH, which is just GitHub, Codespace, and then list. And there's the list. So remember earlier when we looked at the GUI, it said that I had 3 of them, but only 1 of them was active. And here it is. It's active and available. This is the full name. Let me just bring it up so you can see it. This is the full name that's necessary for the command that I provided earlier. Okay, so I'm going to put that command back in here. And I'm going to put the whole command in just so you can see it. Okay, but what I can't do is have this Codespace name here. So I need to remove that from the Codespace name, and I need to put my actual Codespace name. So I'm going to copy this here, and I'm just going to paste it here. So at this point, it's going to get that big old file that it won't let us put on GitHub, but it will let us put in Codespaces, and I'm just going to hit enter. So there we go, fetching SSH details, and it's starting to put it up. And you can see that part right here. Now, Codespaces is not always lickety-split fast when it comes to the internet. They give you a certain amount of bandwidth. So this does take a minute or 2 for it to actually get up there. So as you can see, we're at 12% and it's taken, 10, 15, 20 seconds. And it thinks after about 2 minutes is when it's actually going to be done. So let your file upload. Okay. Then we're going to create our Codespace, but this is going to let it upload. Once it gets there, then we're going to start the next video actually creating the Containerlab now that this file has been uploaded. So let your upload finish, and then we'll be back on the next video. All right. Hope you're having fun. Talk to y'all later, nerds.